Hi there, Claudia from the Wee Garden Homestead here. Today is Monday, August 8th. I am working on my second week of the Every Bit Counts challenge. Today I'm going to do some bell peppers. I have some red, like one yellow and one orange. I went to my local produce market to grab a couple for dinner tonight, and they looked good, so I grabbed a few extras. I'm just going to, I've already washed them, I'm just going to slice them real quick. I'm going to put them on a cookie sheet and flash freeze them, and then they'll go in Ziploc bags. I don't feel the need to vacuum seal them in bags or to blanch them. They're not going to be in the freezer that long. I'll use them up before they go bad. So that is my Every Bit Counts challenge today, and thanks for joining. Alrighty, here we go. Alrighty, they are all sliced. I've set some aside for dinner tonight. I'm not worried about these couple seeds. They're not spicy, so they're not going to affect the quality at all. Throw a couple orange ones in there. I'm going to freeze these just like this. They will pop right off of there, and I will put them in Ziplocs and label and date them after they freeze, probably not till in the morning. And that is it for my Every Bit Counts challenge for today. Thanks for joining. So here's the rest of the bell peppers that I froze yesterday. I cut them and I put them on the pan and I flash froze them. I have my bags marked. I had 6 bell peppers to start with. I used one for dinner last night, so I'm hoping to evenly distribute these into 5 bags. I do have my scale out just to make sure that I get them divided up evenly. Yeah, I hear you. I have a kitty crying for food behind me. I'll get to that in just a minute. So that's basically all I'm going to do. I'm just going to divide these up evenly into bags. Like I said, I should have about 5 bells here, so I'm going to do that. I'll squeeze all the air out. Again, we use bell peppers fairly often. If I want them diced, I can always dice these when I pull them out. They're super easy. You don't even really need a knife. You can just snap them if you need them smaller while they're still frozen. So I'm just going to divide these up. I'm going to squeeze as much of the air out as I can, and I'm going to pop them back into the freezer. And we're going to call this particular preserving one done. Now I do mark them, even though I'm going to use them fairly quickly. I did mark them with the date, mostly because I want to make sure if I do this again that I rotate them. But these will be gone probably in just a few weeks. All right, let's see how close I came. 6.4, 5.9, 5.8, 5, 5.2. Just gonna grab 1 or 2 out of this one and put them in these lighter ones. And we're gonna call that done. This is done. Squeezing air out as much as I can. I'm not too, like I said, I'm not too picky with these because I'm going to use them up fairly quickly. If I was going to long-term storage them, I would definitely put them in vacuum sealed bags. Thanks for joining me. Alrighty, day 2 of the Every Bit Counts Challenge, week 2. So this is the second day of the second week. It's the 9th of August. I'm going to be picking a bunch of this rosemary today and getting it in the dehydrator. I know I should have picked it before it started blooming, but this is when I got around to it, so this is what I'm working on today. We're in the yard, so there's all kinds of noises. The dogs, the ducks, everybody's fired up. There's a new rooster crowing. I don't know. It's chaos. I got my scissors and my colander, and I'm just basically, I'm going to try to cut some of these long enough. I might save them and try to use them for skewers for like shish kebabs to go on the grill. I don't know. I hear people do that. I don't know if they dry them first. And I need them, so I need them long for that, but I need them short enough that they'll fit in my dehydrator, because I'm not going to pull the leaves off until after. We eat from this rosemary bush quite often. I think that's all I'm going to take. That's a lot of rosemary right there. And really, you want to use it up within about 6 months, or it starts to lose its flavor after it's dehydrated. So I think this is plenty. We're going to go in the house. I'm going to rinse it. I'm going to get it in the dehydrator. So I'll see you in there. We are in the house now. I have my rosemary rinsed in the sink just with some cool water, just to make sure it doesn't have any dust or anything on it. I don't put anything on there, you know, as far as pest control or anything like that, so I don't really have to worry about that. But it is in the garden, and it is sometimes, you know, a little dusty or dirty or things like that. So I did rinse it off and patted it dry on this towel a little bit, and then we are going to see if I can do this without too much jiggle shaky. Get it into the dehydrator. Oh, that one's too long. I'll have to trim it off. I was worried about that. One layer. So I'm going to spread these out on several, no, probably two. I'll probably get two layers out of this. Like I said, I didn't want to do too much because it's a lot of rosemary to use up. You don't want to keep it for much more than, I don't know, 6 months. It'll start to lose its flavor. This last one I've got to cut. Too long. Oh, that one's a little too long too. So that looks like it's going to do it for us for that. I'm going to get the lid and turn it on. So I use this Nesco food and jerky dehydrator. I actually just got this one not too long ago. I absolutely love it. I'll put a link in the comments. I'll put a link in the description, rather. And get that plugged in. Set on 95. Should take about 4 hours. I'll be back. Here I am finishing up the rosemary that I started yesterday. And I was under the impression, everything I found online, this is the first time I've done it, but everything I found online said that it would take, I don't know, I saw some that said 2 hours, I saw some that said 4 hours, and I saw some that said 6 hours. So I thought, based on the time that I started it, that it would have been finished yesterday afternoon or early evening. But as it worked out, I wound up letting it go all night. I did shut it off when I got up this morning because it was done. It was dry. And now I'm just pulling it off the stem so I can get it into a mason jar and seal it up and keep it dry. Alright, well that's what we got. About a half a pint. I might transfer that to a smaller jar here in just a minute. That's what I got. Thanks for joining me for the Every Bit Counts challenge. Today for the Every Bit Counts challenge, I have all of this beautiful purple basil. I've never used purple basil before, but it looks so pretty I had to grow it. I do want to use it up before it bolts. So oh, it smells so good too as I'm touching it. I will be cutting this back and making pesto today. That's a lot of basil. So I have everything laid out and ready to go here. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail. I did do a pesto video last year. I do have a recipe I follow very loosely. I like to call recipes more like guidelines, and that's a lot of the things I do. That's how I use my recipes. They're more like guidelines. I'm just gonna peel these garlics real quick. My recipe calls for 2, but Salty and I really like garlic. So 2, 4, 5, whatever. It's all the same. I did pull these off the basil. Everything I had to dry, actually a little bit there. I just lost your basil here. Down to 1. Don't need to so good. Stop in. One. They're doing it please. It's in. I get to awesome. Come on, you look in timer. What is here? That's all. That's my basil day. I just want to go. That's fine. That's just really good. Must have taken a pretty well. So what's I almost the edge? It's a little dark. It's like that whole zone. I'm gonna get it. I can do it. It's changing. That's so weird. So that was for it. It's good. Now, good out. See here. Really measure. Just put it away. So I'm gonna get some roots back up. Hold them. Very good. Okay. Get more perfect. Hand right. Yeah, come on. Bam. I will please freeze these flat on a cookie sheet, and then they stack nicely in a box. So 4 basil pestos going in the freezer for my Every Bit Counts challenge. Thanks for joining me. Hi everybody, welcome to the Wee Garden Homestead. Let's see, I feel like I'm doing a soap opera here. Today on the Everything Counts challenge. Little wobble of the camera there, that was the dog sniffing it. She had to check it out. So today on the Every Bit Counts challenge, I am going to be doing some honey fermented garlic. Super easy, super quick. I am really pressed for time this week, and I'm just squeezing stuff in. As I've said previously, there's not much coming out of the garden this time of year for us. Today I harvested 3 long beans and 1 very small yellow cherry tomato. So I'll throw a picture of that in there too for you, just so you can see what I'm up against. So I did buy peeled garlic for this project, but I do have local honey that I already had on hand that I buy when I come across it. So without further ado, some honey fermented garlic. Alrighty, as promised, today's harvest. 3 long beans and 1 teeny tiny little yellow cherry tomato. Or orange, I guess, because it's called an orange hat tomato. Well, whatever. You get what you get, and there's no crying about it. That's what my granddaughter says. So today I've got fresh peeled garlic. I did buy garlic. It's just much quicker than trying to peel it, and to be honest, the heads, the cloves are bigger too. And then I just have some local Florida raw honey from Polk City. So super easy. I like to trim off the little brown ends. These are a little dried out, so I'm just going to nip those, and they're going to go in there. Just a little bit enough from this to start before you have to for a little. I can get this around your. Nice and fried. So that is this beautiful honey. I don't have black cookies covered. This is good. I'm looking at how these. It's not good. That's it. Look here, there. Hold those pictures in your paper. Well, you know, it's good. Okay. You'll be a problem. I think good. That is some good honey. This is the time where you reuse your lids. Can't reuse them for canning, but you can definitely reuse them for things like this. So there we go. I'll leave that sit for a while, and probably several weeks, and we'll be ready to enjoy. Thanks for joining me. Hi there. Claudia from the Wee Garden Homestead here, back on the Every Bit Counts challenge. Today on the Every Bit Counts challenge, I'm going to be slicing up a sweet potato and putting it in the dehydrator for the dogs, for dog treats. I've never done this before. I saw somebody else do it, and I am at a loss as to who it was. But I'm pretty sure my little hula mix will eat them. My picky little Pyrenees mix, I'm not sure about, but we're going to do it. I'm just going to thin slice them. I'm going to put them in the dehydrator. I might sprinkle a couple of them with some cinnamon, see which ones they like better. And that's going to be my Every Bit Counts preservation for the day. So let's get on with it. Put my lid on. I'm going to go with 135 for fruits and vegetables. 135. Plug this bad boy in. Not sure how long it'll take, but that is, I would imagine, probably at least overnight. That is my Every Bit Counts challenge for today. Thanks for joining. So I was cleaning up and realized I forgot the cinnamon, so I did go back and add a little sprinkle of cinnamon just to the top layer, see how the dogs like it. Thanks. For this project, I did buy tomatoes at Walmart. I don't have anything coming in from the garden right now. These are Nature Sweet Cherubs. I tasted one yesterday when I brought them home. They tasted pretty good. I liked them. I think the ones I get from the garden are a little sweeter, but these will do. So I'm just going to cut these in half. Okay, then I am going to mix in a little chopped garlic with these. And yes, I did buy chopped garlic. As I mentioned earlier, I did work last night and just didn't have it in me to chop garlic this morning. A little drizzle of some olive oil. I'll probably pepper these after I get them in the pan. Give them a good mix so that seasoning, that garlic and olive oil, makes it all the way through. Can you ever have too much garlic? I don't think so. And I am doing these in my little oven today. It is too warm out lately. I don't have air conditioning in my kitchen. I am not warming up the big oven. So if these don't fit in this pan on one layer, I will... Oh, I think they'll go in. I like to spread them out a little bit, but today I'll just do what I can here. 400 for about 25 minutes. I do want them all facing with the cut side up, so I will be in here flipping them here in just a moment. And like I said, in the oven, 400 degrees for about 25 minutes. We'll be back. My tomatoes have been roasted and they have cooled. They're completely cool now. I have bags out. I'm just going to use Ziplocs because these won't be in the freezer very long. I'm going to do half in one bag and half in the other. I probably could have used sandwich bags for these, but I didn't think of that. So, let me see, what do I want to use to scoop here? Oh, there. Freeze them flat, and then they'll thaw super quick when the time comes. All right, that is it for today. I'm going to get these in the freezer, and I will be back tomorrow. I think I'm going to try a new jelly recipe that I'm making. It'll be a surprise. Today is the last day of my second week of the Every Bit Counts challenge. So today is Sunday, the 13th, the 14th, I don't know. It's Sunday, I know that. And I was thinking as I was making my third peanut butter and jelly sandwich this week, about this screwball peanut butter whiskey that was given to my husband for a combination Father's Day birthday gift. We're not real big whiskey drinkers, and it's been sitting around for a bit, and I got to thinking about peanut butter and jelly. Peanut butter and jelly. Well, what's your favorite kind of jelly to put on a peanut butter sandwich? Grape. Grape and peanut butter. I make an awesome peach bourbon jam that we like to use for barbecue. It's also good on crackers or bagels with some cream cheese. I do a peach fireball, so it's got a little bit of cinnamon. I thought, wow, I bet I could do grape and peanut butter whiskey. Maybe it'll taste like a PB&J. I hunted for a recipe and I couldn't find one. So I finally came across a bourbon apple jelly on food.com. We're just going to substitute the apple cider for some grape juice and hope for the best. I'm not worried about it being safe, I'm worried about it setting. So I guess the worst case scenario is we wind up with some grape peanut butter syrup. I don't know. I'm going to give it a try. And I feel really happy to go to the jam and my ink stuff on, you know, so I have also we water hand for 10 minutes. So I have my cashier and I have milk, I have my coffee juice, and I cook it. And I'm going to try to see if it goes. More juice. Let's see. I want to see the juice. So that goes in here. Is that right? I have to look very good. It does quick. So I'm going to turn on medium when it's so jar. Yes, that's very good. Always in spill. When I keep it, now I cook. This in comes one. And I'm sure we get off on this. It's sitting. Is that all sure? It's her. It's good. What's it? Yes, it's pretty good. Hold yours. We're going to call for 4 and start for juicers. I think they're looser or whatever, so we can have looser in case. Take that on the same time. There's yours. There's yours. I think it's a face. Okay, so let's just go ahead and here. Let's see what last little bit I can get out of it. My jelly has processed for 10 minutes. I have turned the burner off. I've moved the canner over a little closer to where I'm going to go with it. I pulled the rack up, so they've been sitting here for a few minutes. And I am going to pull these jars. Oh, look at that. They are boiling in the jar. It's like maybe they're boiling over a little bit. Heard a ping there. Heard a couple pings already. I'm going to carefully set these down. And I am not going to touch them until tomorrow. So I will let you know on next week's video how they turned out. But there you go. I have 4 half pints, that's 4 8-ounce jars of grape peanut butter jelly. I think I'm going to call this PB&J jelly. So that's it for me for this week's challenge. I'll see you next week.